What's up, guys? It's the Late Developers here, Media Messiah, back with another video, and we're live on Twitch. So if you guys want to see these videos being recorded live and seeing me do 1,000 mistakes and messing up, that's the place to be. I'm going to be recording at an inconsistent schedule, so that means that you guys will just never know when to tune in. Like, oh yeah, do I have some free time, an hour of free time? Is Media Messiah recording? Probably not. I don't be making enough videos as it is anyway, even though I play video games all day. But that's neither here nor there. Already off on a tangent. In this Sanji video, we are making a Sanji video. So let's get started on that, and let's start talking about Sanji. Okay, boom. In the beginning, there was One Piece. And in the One Piece manga, there was a character named Naruto. That's right. Not the Uzumaki, the number one knuckleheaded ninja you're thinking of. No, it was Sanji's original name was supposed to be Naruto, because One Piece came out in 97. Naruto came out in 99 in Japan in the manga and stuff like that. And by the time Sanji was getting introduced as a character, Naruto already was becoming popular. So they kind of couldn't name Sanji Naruto, because Naruto just be like, it's a type of fish cake in Japan that you put in ramen, but it has like a spiral pattern on it. And that same thing that like Sanji's eyebrow was literally a spiral pattern, so he was going to be named Naruto, because I believe Naruto means like spiral or something. That's where like the Rasengan comes from and stuff like that, right? And then I think Sanji actually means 3 o'clock in Japanese, because Ichiji, Niji, Sanji, and then Yonji, those are his siblings. And I think Ray, it's Ray is not, is Ray Zero in Japanese? I'm not sure. Ray is probably Zero, but it's not Reiju, it's probably Reiji. But there's no 0 o'clock in Japanese. Like, even when actually, is there a 0 o'clock? I don't know if there's a 0 o'clock in the 24-hour clock. I'm American, so but if there is a 0 o'clock, then it'd be Reiji. It wouldn't be Reiju, right? But in the beginning, right, I always really like Sanji's character. Like, Sanji has been my favorite character of One Piece since day one. Now, it's not in particular that there was like a moment that like I saw Sanji and I'm like, oh, this is like my guy. This is like, you know, it's not like he did anything in particular. Like, even when I saw Sanji as a kid, and I'm talking about 4Kids era, like, because even on Cartoon Network and on Adult Swim, Toonami, whatever you want to call it, the 4Kids dub was like the main dub. Funimation didn't get licensing for it until the end of Alabasta, right before Skypiea, right? So the dub I'm familiar with Sanji is the 4Kids dub. And on top of that, some of the video games that I played as a kid, I played this One Piece game called Pirates Carnival or whatever. I'm not sure if that's like the actual name, but that was also dubbed by 4Kids. Because in the English dub, Sanji's voiced by Eric Vale, who's the voice of like Trunks and like 1,000 other characters, right? And Eric Vale is actually one of my favorite voice actors. I really love his work as Sanji and Trunks. And Trunks was like my favorite video game character for a while. I'm not video game character. Trunks was my favorite Dragon Ball character for a while. Now it's 17, but that's a discussion for a Dragon Ball video. I just want to talk about Eric Vale real quick, right? So I've always been into like the smooth talking slick guys that wear suits and stuff like that. Like, anyone that's like, I don't really like guys who are like, you know, the protagonist or like, you know, the shit of villain. I like someone who's like always kinda in between it, and they don't really like, you know, they play by their own rules. Like, they're completely neutral. And Sanji's not necessarily a neutral character, but he does do a lot of espionage, and he does kind of have his own strategy, that he does kind of do his own things. And for the most part, a lot of the time he's on his own when he's doing these things. And when I was a kid, I always thought his fighting style was really cool. 5 years old, so you can't get mad at me when I say this, but I used to think that, because I knew a little bit about One Piece when I was watching the 4 Kids, but I was only 5 years old. People don't even understand One Piece now when they're 20. If you think I'm going to understand 4 Kids One Piece at 5 years old, you're bugging, right? So this is back when they were called cursed fruits, because you couldn't have religious tones in the 4 Kids, and I knew that Luffy ate a cursed fruit, the gum gum fruit, and I knew that he could stretch his body, because he's made of rubber. Yo, how did that happen? Yo, ho, ho, he took a bite of gum gum. Yeah, yo, right? But I used to always see the opening, as well as I used to play the Pirate Carnival game, and I always see Sanji do party table kick courses, which he does a handstand, spreads his legs out wide, and does like a 360 spin, kicking everyone around him. And I know there was like a mini game in the One Piece Pirate Carnival game where you had to like avoid Sanji's kicks when he was doing party table kick course, as well as he does it in the first original opening, even in the 4 Kids stuff. So I used to think that he ate the gum gum fruit too, because I didn't know that only one person could eat a devil fruit, but I thought it was only for his legs. I thought his legs were like super stretchy and he could stretch them out wide, because he just has like really long legs. But even then, I always thought like those moves were super cool. Like his fighting style was like always the coolest. And as I actually started watching One Piece. I started watching One Piece when I was around 13, right? Like actually officially Funimation dub and going all the way onto the manga to where we're at now right now. So it's been about 10 years for me as a One Piece fan, which is crazy to think about how which is One Piece Day is my birthday. So let's just say every One Piece Day is an official year for me, even though I started it probably back in like January. So like January of 2023 would be 10 years of me being a dedicated One Piece fan, right? So with Sanji, I've always loved his character. I've always thought he was cool to this day. At one point, there were other characters that I did really like more than him. I wouldn't say more as in I started disliking Sanji. I just, at a certain point, I did think that there were other characters that were cooler. I really thought that Trafalgar Law was going to be my favorite. He was my favorite character for a while at one point. I thought his devil fruit ability was really cool. I liked that he was a doctor. I liked that he saved Luffy's life. And I really liked that, like how I just said earlier, at first when you meet Law at Sabri Archipelago, he seems like a similar character to Sanji. He's smiling, he's cool, he's calm, he's collected, he's like kind of like, he's neutral, he's kind of like an asshole, like he makes his own jokes. He's like, hey Drake, have you killed anyone before? And he's like, sticking up the middle finger at everyone and stuff like that. So I thought Law was gonna be like a really cool kind of character, like just like I do whatever I want, life's not that big of a deal, I'm just going around being a pirate doing whatever I want, stuff like that. But then he ended up, after the time skip, turning into this like Sasuke, like, I'm not your friend, we're just in this alliance to beat Kaido, and after that I'm out of here, but I don't like you guys and the Straw Hats anyway, but Baka. Like, I don't know, like I feel like Oda ruined Law's character off of the premise of like Law being popular, right? Because he did not come off that edgy. We got a comment saying fanfiction Sanji eats the gum gum fruit. Yeah, in my head canon, when I was watching 4 Kids, Sanji ate the gum gum fruit. And that's my head canon, and I'm sticking with it. 4 Kids, Sanji ate the gum gum fruit whenever he eats, whenever he sees Nami, right? That's his power, right? And yeah, if you don't like, people be like, oh, if you're like a cool, calm, collected guy, then why Sanji? Because every time he sees women, he starts simping. Listen, okay, there's nothing wrong with simping. If you saw Nico Robin in real life, you would simp for her too, alright? Listen, half of y'all niggas have never even seen a real woman in real life, bruh. Y'all sit on a computer screen all day. Not like what I'm doing right now, but that's besides the point. Listen, if you saw Nami in real life, you fold like a motherfucking omelet too, okay? I'm not trying to hear that. I'm not trying. Listen, if Robin came here right now and was like, fold yourself like an omelet, I'm folding like an omelet. All right, listen, people want to get mad at Sanji because he's a simp. Listen. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with simping. There's nothing wrong with simping, especially when you can beat everyone's ass. Like, yeah, I'm a simp, but I could also beat your ass. I won't even lift a finger. I'll lift a toe. I won't lift a finger. And I'll make you dinner afterwards. If that's not gangster, I don't know what it is. Plus, I also like really cooking a lot and stuff like that. So, look, you see, we got people in the comments slipping right now as we speak. So I know I'm not the only one. Okay. Yeah. But before I get into like more of like, I guess like, you know, talking about specific character interactions, I want to just focus on him at first, right? So with Sanji, his dream is to find the All Blue. It's a part of the scene that has all of the four blues connected. So the North Blue, the South Blue, the East Blue, the West Blue, all of them are connected at this magical place in the world, and that's where you can get all of the fish from all of the world. You don't have to go to the North Blue to get North Blue fish, etc., right? I've seen a lot of contention where people recently are like, oh, Sanji's never focusing on his dream and stuff like that. I don't really like to focus on the negative comments of One Piece, not because it's a cult. I mean, it kind of is a cult, right? Because Goda is our God, our Lord and Savior. He can never do no wrong. But no, a lot of people miss the point of One Piece, right? They're like, oh, why is Zoro only waiting to fight Mihawk? Why is he not fighting like a group of a group of swordsmen to work his way up to Mihawk? Why do we never see Nami drawing a map? Why do we never see Chopper inventing new medicine? Why do we never see Sanji asking questions about the All Blue? Listen, every single one of the Straw Hats, and this is why Luffy follows them, is because they are not in this for the destination. That's their overarching goal. It's what they want to do in life, right? But the goal for them is the journey. That's why the joke has always been, oh, it's the friends we made along the way. For them, except Nami, every single one of the Straw Hats, except Nami, they care about the friends they made along the way. They're there for the memories. They're not there to like, you know, because like Sanji doesn't care if he doesn't find the All Blue within the next year. He doesn't care if he doesn't find the All Blue before Luffy becomes the Pirate King. He just wants to find the All Blue. And just like Luffy, he doesn't care if it doesn't exist or not. It's part of his dream. And he wants to see it, right? Like just how like Luffy wants to be Pirate King, and Luffy truly believes in his heart that Luffy's Pirate King. It's just that to Sanji there are more important things, right? Now I understand what people are saying when they're saying that, oh yeah, he should be asking questions, because if you have a goal, you should work for it. However, with 1,200 named characters, thousands, almost 1,100 chapters at this point, a story going on for 25 years, do you actually feel like you want to stuff more content into One Piece? Is that the issue we're getting at now? Is we're saying that there's not enough content in One Piece? Come on. I'm not trying to hear that. Right? But yeah, I also really thought that Sanji's first backstory is really cool, because Sanji gets two backstories. He gets one pre-time skip and he gets one post-time skip. And once again, people have been criticizing Oda recently for lack of retcons. You can't say anything to me about it. I'm not sitting here and I'm gonna start breaking down, well, did this work? Because listen, Sanji and Zeph have a great bond. They have a great father and son relationship, and it only gets stronger when you look at his actual biological father relationship, right? So when you look at him and you see that him and Zeph, they both had the same dream. They both went out to sea to find it, and you see that's like a lot of Sanji's inspiration comes from Zeph. For example, he only uses his feet because of Zeph and taught him that, you know, you need your hands for cooking, right? He started smoking to prove that he was an adult, and it ended up actually giving him a nicotine addiction, so how about that? You know, and Zeph always raised him to never hurt a woman. Plus, on top of that, was the only support figures before he met Zeph in his entire life. Sanji only had women. His mother Sora was his world, his literal sun, and then when she died, devastated, right? And the only woman to save him from his personal hell, remember, his father and his three brothers are just bragging on him all day, right? They're like, you know, and even then they're growing up in like a bunch of clones and stuff like that. He never got love and nurture. So the only person to free him from that was Reiju, right? So it's like he has the highest respect for women, and this is talking about it on a narrative level. I'm not talking about when Oda starts doing like comedic moment. Well, if he respects women so much, why would he grope Nami? Like, let's listen. When Oda's writing a dramatic scene versus when he's doing his comedy moments are two different things. You might as well just consider that two different characters. Like I said, his comedic moments with him being a pervert, it's anime. If you're going to sit here and start talking about how perverted anime characters are, you might as well just send us all to jail, because I still watch High School DxD at 23, and I'd still fold for Akano like an omelet, even if she's her age. We're not going to say what age she is. She's legal in the light novel, probably, maybe, hopefully. I'm still folding like an omelet. You can't stop me. There's nothing you can say. Oh my God, he's attracted to Akino. It's a fictional character, right? That's built like a fucking 25-year-old, like a DRA. Right? You go on different tangents about different anime, but no, I think that's a really important topic to talk about. Not necessarily important. Like, well, why is Sanji a pervert? It's fucking comedic moments. Like, I don't understand the issue with it, right? But as we go through the story, Sanji's the third combatant on the crew, which means he always gets the third guy. So Luffy gets the main villain, Zoro gets the second guy, who's usually a swordsman, and Sanji gets the third guy. Now, I could be petty, and I could do a Sanji versus Zoro debate here, because like, some people want to like talk about Sanji versus Zoro. Last time I checked, Sanji's bounty is higher than Zoro, so like when Marimo actually gets a higher bounty, then we'll start talking about it. But for now, I'm not trying to hear that, right? So I mean, like, if you guys want to talk about it, I'm just saying we haven't gotten the new Wano bounties yet. So if someone ends up with a higher bounty again, you can't be mad. You can't be mad. It's not gonna happen, though, Sanji should have never bragged. He should have took his L. He should have took his W in peace and let Zoro sit on that L, bro. Because you know for a fact that Zoro's bounty's gonna be like one berry higher now. And he's like, yo, you hear someone? I hear someone with a lower bounty talking. That's crazy. Like, yo, it's only one berry. It's like, yeah. But last time it was 10 million. You had something to say. Listen, it's not about the numbers, okay? It's not. Right? It's about the respect, and y'all better put respect on Sanji's name, right? Okay, cool. So yeah, I always thought that Sanji, even though he was the third combatant, I always genuinely like his fights. Like, I actually liked his fight in the more recent arc with Queen more than I liked Zoro's, because I guess like Sanji got some good character development. And throughout the pre-time skip, he was always really like into espionage, and it's not too apparent now in the post time skip. Like, he hasn't really had a lot of roles where he's like undercover, because specifically Sanji's been going through like a super amount of fluctuation during the post time skip. But during the pre time skip, his moments specifically in the Alabasta saga, chef's kiss. First off, he started off as Mr. Prince in Little Garden, and he was talking to Crocodile, asking if he, pretending he was Mr. 3. And then when they get to Alabasta, he starts acting like Mr. Prince. He's going undercover completely, right? He did the same thing in Enies Lobby, where he's taking on the sea train virtually by himself, even though Frankie ends up, coming along for eventually after a certain point. Sanji's little excursion on his own on the sea train was a phenomenal moment, right? Even the way he ended up allowing the gates of justice to be opened for the crew, all of that just was like peak Sanji, and he never, like I said, he never really wavered from being my favorite character up until like I started seeing Law, and I was like, once the time skip happened, then just fell off of it again, right? If we move to the time skip though, a lot of people started hating Sanji more, and they started hating him more because of the 50-foot mermaid nosebleed thing. And I would agree with you that it would be an annoying point, but one, it's not like they lingered on it that long, right? So listen, I want people to understand, if you were stuck on an island with nothing but trannies trying to smash you and and turn you into a girl for 2 years straight, and then the first women you see when you get back to normal land is Nami, Robin, Perona, and Boa Hancock, and you telling me you wouldn't do some type of leakage? Not a nosebleed, just leaking from any part of your body. We're not going to say which part of your body. I'm listening. Full blast. Something's coming out of my body if I see Robin after 2 years, after being on an island with only men for 2 years straight. And I look at Robin, something shooting out of my body. I'm not gonna say if it's nosebleed. I'm not gonna say if it's somewhere else. I'm leaking, fam. That's not, you can't blame Sanji, right? On top of that, it literally sets up an important moment at the end of Fisherman Island. So Oda turned a gag and it turned it into one of the most impactful scenes in the entire story. And y'all got the nerve to say it was like come on, bro. Fisherman Island was over 10 years ago. We still talking about this stuff. Like, I feel like y'all just looking for a reason. After Fisherman Island, Sanji didn't really have a big role in Punk Hazard. He had some stuff with Kinemon, and then we get to this scene right here, where Sanji, luckiest man in the world, gets to be in Nami's body for like an hour or so, and he takes full advantage of it. Now people he took her body without consent. He's manipulating her. How he's supposed to be a chivalrous guy if he's supposed to if he's gonna be doing this stuff? Can't blame you. If you're a guy and you're telling me that you grew titties the size of out to here, but and you telling me you wouldn't take one peek or do one squeeze, we have nothing to talk about, because that, sir, I got news for you. That makes you gay. I'm sorry. It just does. I don't make the rules. It's just what happened, and that's not derogatory. It just means you don't like women. I'm sorry, because I'm taking a peek, right? Like I said, I really don't feel like there's a whole bunch to say about that in particular, because for me, it just doesn't seem like that big of a deal. Especially because it's played up for a comedy moment. Like, we never get a moment where Sanji is or Nami's like actually angry at him, especially because we have a moment like that with like Tashigi and Smoker later, which is played out narratively different, but fan service is fan service, right? Speaking of chivalry though, I almost forgot to mention this, but Sanji doesn't hit women, and I don't necessarily think it's like this super cool thing. Outside of One Piece, it really is, because in almost every video game Sanji's in, except things that like you can't help it, like One Piece Treasure Cruise. But games like Burning Blood or Pirate Warriors or even J-Force, I believe the game's called, Sanji physically can't hit women, and they put it into the game where he can't hit women. So if he's hitting a woman, he just does like lovey-dovey attacks, but they don't take damage at all. So a lot of times having Sanji on your team is a detriment, and that carries over into the show too, where sometimes they just have women opponents, and Sanji's like, I can't do anything here. Like, that's it. I won't. Even if I know my friends are in danger, I refuse to hit a woman. And I understand that some people are kind of annoyed by that, and I know for a fact that like early One Piece, people were like, oh, one of the moments Sanji's gonna have to go through is he's gonna be put in a life or death situation where like Nami or someone's gonna be like kidnapped and about to be killed by a woman, and he's gonna have no choice but to have to hit that woman. And I used to think that at some points too, but Oda at this point, after the Queen fight, has clearly shown us that he's never gonna put it into the story that Sanji's gonna have to hit a woman. For Sanji hitting a woman the same way as like Zoro getting a scar on his back, it's just greatest shame. Sanji wouldn't be able to live with himself. He literally told Zoro like, hey, if I'm not myself, I want you to kill me, because Sanji, he's a very kind character, and he's very selfless, so he's always sacrificing himself. He's always going up against people he know he can't beat, or he's always taking on challenges on his own just because he knows that it's the right thing to do. And he asks himself at one point, he's like, okay, well, if I become a monster, right, and I'm super strong because of this, I have like unbreakable skin, I'm unbelievably fast, I can reach heat levels that I've never reached before. Overall, that'd make Luffy have a higher chance of becoming the Pirate King, because me getting stronger is a good thing for Luffy, right? And I could still cook for him, he wants to cook, right? But it's more of like a me thing. It's like, can I live with myself? Can I be a monster for Luffy's goal, right? And he, at the end of the day, he comes out and he says, no, I can't do it. I can't sacrifice myself so that I can make Luffy Pirate King. And it doesn't mean I want to abandon the crew. I'd rather die than do that. And I'd also rather die than, giving up on myself. And so he chooses that option. He's like, okay, Zoro, if I'm not myself anymore, then I'd rather you kill me. And I think that's really important for his character, more than just giving him a cheap, like, oh, well, giving him excuse. Like, that's like the coward's way out. It's like, oh, Sanji hit a woman, but it was to save another woman's life. That's a coward's way out. That's like a cheap way to have your cake and eat it too, to like, make us forgive Sanji. Right, and not to say that when you're on the pirate seas and you're all like, you're like Tashigi or Marine, or you're like Monet or stuff like that, everyone's putting their life on the line, everyone's fighting. I'm not saying that it's wrong to hit a woman, I'm just saying that that goes against what Sanji's code is. Same thing with Zoro. Zoro prefers not to hit women, and he'll probably try his hardest not to. But it's like, let's say there's a fodder beast pirate lady running in front of him. It's not that he won't hit her, it's probably that Zoro won't go all out. So even if he does cut her, he'll use like the back of his swords. But like Zoro, like, even though he's uncomfortable with it, he'll have a higher chance of like just like brushing her aside. And now that he has Conqueror's Haki, I think that Sanji had Conqueror's Haki, he wouldn't even use it to knock out women. That has a whole lot of Bill Cosby implications behind it. And so, oh God, imagine if Sanji had Conqueror's Haki and started making women faint wherever he went. They gonna call Sanji the next Bill Cosby, bro. I'm so glad. I really hope Sanji never gets Conqueror's Haki for that specific reason, right? But yeah, Zoro probably would have no issue knocking a girl out with Conqueror's Haki and stuff like that. Like I said, he prefers not to, but he's also not gonna let a woman get in his way, and if that means scaring the shit out of them like Monet, or just pushing them to the side or whatever, then that so be it, right? But like, it's not like Zoro's gonna be like, oh, can I take this scar on the back of my body for whatever reason? It's like, you don't expect Zoro to take a scar on his back, right? I think the other backstory with Sanji is not too important to talk about, because I already talked about it mostly with how he views women because of the abuse of his father. But now we're getting to the point where Sanji he's been conflicted a lot as a character throughout the time skip ever since Dressrosa, because he went off on his own with Nami, Chopper, and Brook. I think Momonosuke? Yeah, I think Momonosuke went off to Zoe with them, right? And ever since then, he's had issues with Big Mom and getting married, and just overall dealing with his family issues. And I think that Sanji's character arc has been so far my favorite. Like, I always loved the Luffy and Sanji dynamic, because it's not a dynamic you see that often. So I used to love seeing them team up whenever I could. I'm like, I remember before Whole Cake even happened or was even a concept, I think this is like during Dressrosa, I used to tell my co-host, that Flamingo, I was like, I love to see more Luffy versus Sanji dynamics, right? Because we've always gotten We've always gotten Luffy and Zoro together, or Luffy and Usopp together, or like Luffy and Nami, or Luffy and Rob. We don't get Luffy and Sanji that often. And I thought it was like really cool to see like, you know, more Luffy and Sanji in the future. And I was to tell Zap Flamingo, I was like, yo man, you know, it'd be so cool if like Luffy and Sanji ever got into a little fight, and they just like, you know, I want to see like how Luffy's abilities would compare to Sanji's. And oh boy, was I wrong. I didn't want to see it. I didn't know Oda was gonna do that to us. Oh man, that Luffy versus Sanji fight was heartbreaking. I remember when I first read the chapter, and I was telling that Flamingo, I was like, I know I always told you that I wanted to see Luffy and Sanji fight, but not like this. Not like this. And then you literally see him crying in the chair after Nami slaps him, and he's just like there, and then his brothers are laughing, and it was like, oh my god. And a lot of people were like, oh, whole cake has no consequences. Whole cake, it carries over as nothing. It has no reason to be an arc or whatever. It carried over several character arcs. I'm not even going to talk about stuff with Big Mom or other characters that came out of Whole Cake. Literally, Sanji has multiple character arcs, starting from Zoe, going to Wano, and I feel like we might not even still be over it because we don't know what's going on. Well, we don't know the end result of the what's going on with the Germa right now, because we know they went to go rescue Niji and Yonji. Reiju and Ichiji went to go rescue Niji and Yonji because they got captured while they were helping the Straw Hat escape. And we know that right now they're getting attacked by Katakuri and Oven. We've seen Ichiji get already beaten by Katakuri, so we don't know how this is going to play out. But this is not a fight for winning. This is a fight to escape Whole Cake Island. Big Mom might not even be there at this point because she might have signed off for Wano at this point. So they might have an easier time getting away because they'll have less access to homies and whatnot. So we'll see what's going on. But Sanji's character arc is definitely not done. Or at least I should say his family issues aren't done. Because one of the interesting things about Sanji is that he got a pretty significant power-up during the course of Wano, where he got the raid suit. And I really love, one of the things that I love that Oda did in particular, which kind of a lot of people, like, they kind of gloss over this, but Oda really cut the bullshit this arc, right? So there were, even before Wano started, there was so much speculation of what was gonna happen during the raid of Onigashima. Well, I guess you can't say the raid of Onigashima because we didn't find out about Onigashima until Wano. But that, like, when the raid was starting, I should say, there was so much speculation as to what was gonna happen with the battle itself. So we were expecting just the Straw Hats and like the Samurai Allies and Kinemon and stuff like that to, you know, fight Kaido, right? So there was specifically like, there was like 3 or 4 moments that was like expected to happen, and Oda got it all out the way before the fight even started. So number 1, we were expecting Kid to show up out of nowhere to like clutch save Luffy. Right? Then we were expecting Jinbei to show up out of nowhere to clutch save a moment, and we were expecting Marco to show up out of nowhere to clutch save a moment, and we were expecting Sanji to use the raid suit and swallow his pride and stuff like that. Oda got that stuff all out the way before the beginning of the arc even happened. I'm not going to talk about the first 3 points because that was not part of a Sanji video, but when we first got shown the raid suit, it happened during Reverie, and Sanji said, I'm not using this, I'm about to throw it overseas and stuff like that, and he ended up keeping it, and people would have swore on their life that Sanji probably wasn't even going to use it as Wano. It was going to be Chekhov's raid suit, probably until like the end of the series, until Sanji has no choice to use a desperate power-up. And Oda, almost within like the first few chapters of Wano, when the Straw Hats arrive, he starts using the raid suit, and Sanji makes a good point. He's like, we're up against the Yonko here. If I don't swallow my pride and use every tool in my asset, then we're not gonna win. I'd rather swallow my pride for right now, and then when we beat the Yonko, then, you know, fuck the raid suit, right? And then he still uses it quite consistently. You know, it gives him an extreme speed boost. He, and there's like this super cool moment where Law and Drake, because both Law and Drake are from the North Blue, and Sanji was born in the North Blue, and there's like this comic strip that's like comes in a newspaper, like, you know how what's those comic strips thing, like Garfield or something like that. There's other ones I was trying to think of, but like, you know how Garfield used to be in a newspaper back in like the 90s and before then, when people still was reading newspapers, right? Like at least everyone was reading newspapers, that's what I mean to say. But you used to have Garfield in the comics and stuff like that. There was always a comic for the Germa, but in this reality, in the comics, they were the heroes, right? And no, actually, I'm wrong. I'm sorry about that. No. So the Germa were the villains, right? The hero was the Navy hero Sora, and he used to fight the Germa Double Six, who were like the evil Power Rangers. And one of the members of it was Stealth Black, who he could turn invisible, and he was also a villain. And that's Sanji's ability; he could turn invisible, which he uses the exact way you think Sanji would. Which, by the way, one of Sanji's dreams came complete. He was able to turn invisible, even if it was only a short while. And yeah, he did cash out. He did get to see everything he wanted to see. Nami used her happiness punch again, and it was super effective. Super effective. I'm not sure how I feel about him seeing Robin naked, but I can't get mad at him, right? But yeah, the way Sanji uses the raid suit is pretty good, and then he ends up destroying it. He's like, this is changing my body, and I'd rather get rid of it now before it changes my psyche. Now, we know it never actually did. A lot of mind games are being played with Sanji at that point, and we know that he never hit a woman. But he was just like, I don't want to take a chance. I've learned that I don't need this anymore. Plus, like, he already had the upgrades. He's like, if I stop here, this is good. Like, I have, a stronger body now. I have a more durable body, so I can even raise the temperature of my Diablo Jambe even more at this point. And like I said, I don't think that Sanji's character arc can go it's done. I'm sorry. I think it's gonna go higher. I don't think that Sanji's done as a character. So, where do I think Sanji's gonna go? I think the Germa are gonna come around. It's like, it says that they're biologically, Ichiji, Niji, and Yonji, they're biologically incapable of having emotions, because like Judge took them away. Reiju still has her emotions. The only thing she doesn't have is her own freedom, because like all the Germa can't, thanks to like Sora swallowing poison or something like that. When they were all incubated, they all kind of like got affected by it. But Reiju is actually a year older than them, so Sanji is part of a quartuplet. I believe that's four quartuplets or whatever, and then Reiju was like a year older than them. So like she was like the first experiment though. So by the time that Sora had the 4 kids, she like that was like the perfected version. So Reiju has her emotions, she just doesn't have the ability to disobey Judge's orders. And Ichiji, Niji, and Yonji, they have both. They don't have emotions and they can't disobey Judge's orders. Sanji, for some reason, it skipped him. It skipped the third. And just like he can do whatever he wants, he has a kind heart. But I do think that the Germa are gonna eventually come around and be allies. I don't know if we'll ever get to a point where Judge is sorry or the brothers are sorry and stuff like that, but they do acknowledge Sanji's worth. Like, there's that moment where Sanji like, you don't owe me, I don't want anything from you, don't ever call me your son again. And that's my Eric Vale impression. I really do love Eric Vale as a voice actor. I love that like grittiness in his voice, right? Even when he's Trunks, I just love Eric Vale as a voice actor, right? And so Judge definitely acknowledges Sanji's strength at this point, and so does the other Germa siblings. Like, they know he's not completely weak and useless. It's like he literally saved them. And so I do think we're gonna get a moment in the future where like they're all not done. I highly doubt that Oda, especially because Reiju, oh my god, Reiju, that's a fine mama right there. I'd make her a good wife, Sanji. Don't trust me. Trust me on that one. I'd turn Reiju into a great wife. She, I can cook too, so I mean I'll never be able to cook as good as Sanji. But don't worry, she gonna be getting home cooked meals from me too. So don't worry about it. I'll learn from you, and you'll teach me how to make meals, right? Right. So yeah, I think that's everything I want to talk about. This video is probably really long because Sanji is one of my favorite characters, and I've done so much like information research on him and stuff like that that I really just don't need to like look up anything, which is probably why this video is probably way more structured and well formatted than the Ippo one, because like the Ippo one I just did a general discussion on it, and it was really difficult for me to like talk because I'm like, should I talk about the characters? Should I talk about the main characters? Should I talk about the fight? Should I talk about whatever? But no, Sanji, it's pretty easy to talk about. So yeah, I want to thank you guys for watching. I'm not gonna really do, like I said, when I'm getting into the groove of things, I won't like let you guys on intros and outros and stuff like that. I do want to just focus straight up on the video. I don't want to like, I'll give you updates when they're necessary, but for the most part, nah, I think I really do like this format. I do think that these general discussion videos I'm probably not gonna do on my own time unless I absolutely need to. But yeah, if I'm just talking about a character that I like or a thing that I dislike, I'll do it live for you guys, and I'll upload them the next day if I can. If not, then I'll probably just upload them like the next 2 days after editing and whatnot. This one pretty I messed up literally right there at the end too. I was gonna say this one flowed pretty smoothly, so I didn't feel a need to like maybe cut too much out, maybe cut that part out. I'll probably start adding pictures and stuff like that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the setup, if you guys like the way this stuff looks and whatnot. I don't even have the green screen active right now because I just don't see a point. Like, I don't see like a point in like cutting out my background completely, because it's not like anything is messy, right? I think the setup looks pretty good. So 1,000 guys filming their bedroom with their bed and stuff like that, and their dresser in the background. But yeah, I want to thank you guys for watching my videos. Because this format is so much easier, I will be recording a lot more videos exactly like this, and I'll probably be forcing that Flamingo to be recording videos with me like this too. So I'm like, hey, before we stream, we're going to be making a little discussion video, then we'll play video games for an hour, just so that we can actually have him recording videos and whatnot. So yeah, I'm going to end the stream here, guys. Well, actually, you know what? No. I'm retarded. I'm not ending the stream here. I'm so sorry. I'm ending the video here, but we're gonna be streaming right after this. I'm probably gonna be playing some more video games, and yeah, thank you guys for watching the video. For those of you guys who are watching this on YouTube, and we're gonna start streaming. We'll be playing literally whatever game at this point right now. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Signing out.